am. I'm up to my aviators in Strike Force Foxx. Someone asks me what I'm playing. And I say, oh, it's one of those pick up the people with the helicopter games. And then there's a weird moment of silence. Finally, the person says, wait, there are multiple games about picking people up in helicopters? And that's when it really hit me, how oddly specific video games can be. And unoriginal. It's Strike Force Foxx for the Nintendo 3DS. So yeah, picking people up with helicopters. It's actually a pretty old school concept in video games. It dates all the way back to an old Broderbund game called Choplifter, released in 1982. By the way, that predates Predator by like 5 years, so I guess Dutch played a lot of Choplifter. And over time, plenty of games have added to the Choppa concept. Just a few years later, there was Rescue Raiders on the Apple II. A decade later, there were Sega's Air Rescue games. And even today, we have stuff like Glory Days 2 for the Nintendo DS, tons of games in the App Store, and obviously, Strike Force Foxx.
Thanks!
Thank you!
Thanks! Thanks for the lift.
So in addition to sounding like a stripper who dresses like a fighter pilot, Strike Force Foxx is a pretty solid take on the Choplifter formula, and a pretty faithful one too. Each level has a bunch of people who need saved, and you have to save them. So you fly around, you find them, you land the choppa, you take them back. And of course, bad guys try to stop you, because it's a video game. That's how it works. So it's a very straightforward design, very classic. That's the thing. That's both a strength and a weakness. I mean, it's a fun retro game, but it does feel like a lot of other retro games. I'll tell you what does set it apart, though. It has a story that's actually kind of entertaining. It's like a combination of Top Gun, terrorism, and Days of Our Lives. It's this super cheesy, daytime drama approach to the usual bad guy holds the city hostage storyline. And it's a lot of fun to follow along. In fact, it kind of reminds me of the Trauma Center games, with its soap opera characters and conversations. The game doesn't take itself too seriously, and that makes it fun. Unfortunately, the gameplay isn't quite as fun as the dialogue. I mean, it's good, but it does wear thin after a while. Every level's sort of the same thing. Blow up the enemies, pick up the civilians. Do that a few times, the level's over. Move on to the next one. I mean, the specifics change. You might have to blow up a certain amount of buildings, or you might get a new chopper, but what you're actually doing never evolves that much. And on the one hand, hey, that's old school. But the best old school games manage to maintain your interest and keep things fresh. Strike Force Foxx doesn't always do that. But don't get me wrong though, it is fun, at least in short bursts. And it plays really well. The controls are good, the action's solid, and I really like how the chopper handles. It has just a touch of realism, but it never goes overboard. So it has the momentum you'd expect, but it's never like Lunar Lander or anything like that. And I especially like that when you take serious damage, the chopper becomes a lot harder to control. It starts smoking and wobbling. So in addition to arcade action, it has just the right amount of nuance. I guess the presentation isn't bad either. The music's solid, the game looks okay. But to be honest, I would have preferred a more cartoony look. I mean, the realistic environments seem a little bit at odds with the over-the-top story and the 2D characters, so I would have liked more of a 2D animated style. That's more of a personal preference, I guess. But my problem with weapons is less so. Specifically, you have different ones, but the game doesn't even let you use them until it's almost over. Giving people more weapons and items earlier in the game would really help to keep things fresh, which is probably its biggest problem. But it's not like it has a lot of problems. It's such a silly, overdramatic game. I mean, even the name feels overdramatic, and that's awesome. The story's so ridiculous, you can't help but have fun with it. And the gameplay does a fine job of bringing a classic idea onto a modern platform. It might wear thin after a couple missions, but especially for short flights, this eShop chopper game is a lot of fun. E-chopper. It's Strike Force Foxx for the Nintendo 3DS. E-chopper.
Thank you!
Thanks for the ride!
Thanks for the ride!